From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Brayden Neville.
On today's episode, Ticats' new linebackers coach, Michael Fletcher, joins the show to discuss his new role with the team, his playing days with Orlando Steinauer, and gearing up for his first season on a CFL coaching staff. It's Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024, and this is Ticats Today. One of the newest members of the coaching staff, a 9-year vet of the CFL, a former CFL All-Star, and of course, a 2-time Grey Cup champion, Michael Fletcher. He won in 2000 with the BC Lions, 2004 with the Argos, and it was in 2004 where he actually won that Grey Cup with President of Football Operations for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Orlando Steinauer, and he joins me now to discuss his new gig. Coach, thanks for joining me today, man.
Good. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
This is going to be your first coaching job in the CFL. Where did it all come about for you to join the Ticats coaching staff and work with Coach Milanovich and the rest of the crew for this season?
Well, I can't say I've been like me and O kind of do I got obviously Orlando Steinhauer. I got a 20+ year relationship with him. We kind of do a check-in yearly, end of the year, just kind of see where each other's at and things like that. Obviously, him knowing my ambitions to work at the highest level of professional football at some point as a coach. And this time it happens to be right,
Mm-hmm.
With some of the coaches departing, and then we kind of look at, get a fresh vision, some new energy in the room, and interviewing with Coach Washington, Mark Washington, and Scott as well. It seemed like a perfect fit, and so I'm excited to be, to join for this new era of Ticat football.
What's it like for you to have played with Orlando Steinhauer back with the Toronto Argonauts? You won a Grey Cup with him. What's it like for you to now go full circle and be working with him here in Hamilton, with him as the president, obviously, and you and the coaching staff this time?
Well, I mean, if you know O, you know O. It's kind of one of those things. I mean, he's who he presents himself to be. So. And I know, he's a hands-on guy, even though he's kind of, stepping away in the coaching aspect. Like he's got his imprint definitely in the organization. I know he'll be stopping by offices, just testing football knowledge and all that type of stuff. Just to see how sharp I am. I mean, we used to actually sit in game plan together back in the day. Myself, Mike O'Shea, Kenny Wheaton, Adrian Smith. So we were the guys that with schools kind of putting the game plans together collectively back in the day. So I know that hadn't left his brain. I know that for sure.
The head coach this year will be Scott Milanovich. What's the relationship like with him? How's it been getting to know him over the last couple months?
Yeah, so Scott's an awesome, real down-to-earth dude, and cares about winning. And obviously he's been successful. My introduction to Scott, I believe he had just came on. Maybe as a player, or I know as a quarterback coach or something sometime back in Montreal back in the day when I was still playing. So so getting introduced to him that way and kind of following his track record of success, over the last decade plus, if he's in the building, like winning is sort of right, it follows right behind that. And
for sure.
And that's not pressure. That's just opportunity for the rest of the staff to kind of hop on board and see his vision and play it out on the field. And that's what we plan on doing.
There's this linebacking core this year is going to be a little different than what we saw last year. A lot of new pieces. The first guy being Jordan Williams coming over from Toronto. I think he's going to probably be a crucial member of that linebacking core. What can you say about him and getting a guy like that, a young player, a Canadian, and all that coming here to Hamilton?
Yep. When I watch film of Jordan, I see a lot of untapped potential. Still there. I think he has all-star ability, play in him for sure. And he's versatile. So I mean, he's a guy that can do a lot of things, and he's willing, and able to do all those things. So it's obviously getting him in the most comfortable position. And then allowing him, it's my job to allow him, get him in a position where he don't have to think, where he can just react. And when he's doing that, again, he's an all-star level player. There's some great backers across the league, but I think this guy is kind of the next budding star, in the CFL at that position.
Yeah, another guy on this linebacking core, guy who dealt with some injuries last year that will be returning, is Kyle Wilson. Just wondering what you think about him, getting to work with him, and where he could possibly fit in this year.
Well, Kyle, he's, well, I understand he's quiet by nature, which is different really from, at a linebacker position. You want a vocal guy. But, I think he's meticulous. So he's analyzing. And then when he speaks, it speaks volumes. So, he's one of those guys that's kind of calculated. And when he speaks, it means something because he knows what he's talking about. He does the homework. Obviously, we physically need to take care of him. Because if we can get, just say we can get those two guys, we can keep those two guys on the field together, a guy that's been through the system. Because he's going to be the quarterback of the defense right now. We don't have a ton of experience coming back, and that's fine with me. So everybody can kind of learn together. But he has, so I'll be learning from him myself.
For sure.
In the trenches, and he I can watch film and say things, but he was in the huddle and know what went down in certain situations where he can coach us all up on. So I'm really looking for his input on obviously making us play, raise our level of play. And I'm excited to work with Kyle.
One guy whose numbers you look at, a guy who was signed this offseason that's interesting, and I want to see if you can maybe give a little scouting report on him, is Ray Wilborn. If you have anything on him, a guy who's got a lot of experience, he's been in the NFL for a number of years, but what can you say about him?
Versatility. Sure. You know what I mean? He got great size, kid can run, so it's like, man, like where do we fit in where do we use him, in the play? So it's, I talked with Mark Washington about him, and, obviously some of the new guys that are coming in, obviously Ray, one of them is like, man, like what packages can we build him? Like, you know what I mean? Comes in, like, it's so many things that he can do and kind of change the trajectory of, what we do with our linebackers. So, because he, obviously he can rush off the edge. He can do all type of things.
Yeah.
We love those versatile guys, but, again, you don't know until you get guys in the classroom, so that's, again,
for sure.
I always bring that up because I want to get those guys in position where they can just react, where they don't have to think so much. I don't want to slow them down with thinking. So simple, less is more sometimes. And he might be who knows, he might be the Einstein of the group as well. So, I'll start getting with these guys, meeting with them, virtually here soon. And get everybody dialed in, but, kind of, see what their football IQ is like. But you turn on the film, him and some other guys, I mean, he can definitely thrive.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Mark Washington. What has it been like getting to know him and work with him over the last little while since you've joined the coaching staff?
Mark is primed to be a head coach someday.
For sure.
He's definitely a leader of people, men, women, whoever. Like and whatever Mark does, it's important to him. So he's meticulous in his work, and he is a guy that he loves. The cool thing about Mark is, like, it's really like, hey, myself, Glenn Young, and Brandon, it's like really like four coordinators on the thing. Like, we all got input, in what's going on. So, like, he don't think he knows it all. He invites you to share information with the group, and nothing's off limits, with him. So I'm excited to, obviously I knew him as a player. I was on the opposing sidelines, and, I know he was kind of like in that sense. He was a kind of a quarterback. Secondary, a guy that didn't really live off ability, but lived off of IQ and things like that. So, you appreciate those qualities in people. And Mark's definitely, in his coaching career, has definitely shown that, he's a made man up there in Canada, and he, the sky's the limit for him. So I'm excited to work with him because, and then we both are really DBs that are transitioning to positions and learn the other positions, which is cool. And I'm learning from him. I really love, just how he goes about putting the pieces of the puzzle together for his game planning and getting guys in the right position to make plays. So I'm excited.
I want to take you back in time to your playing career a bit and back to that 2004 Grey Cup championship when you won with Orlando Steinauer. But what was it about that team and your defense that made that team so successful, made you guys able to capture a Grey Cup in that season?
I think we embodied the personality of our coordinator at the time, which is Rich Stuber. God rest his soul. But, it was Stu, we found the right pieces. And we knew what we wasn't good at, and we knew what we were good at. So our job was to do whatever we can to be successful on first down. Because we knew on second and long and any of those middle, medium, and any of those distance, we were gonna win. Like we were built to win that style. So, and the other thing that defense reminds me of, I go back and look at my career, is I think 11 out of the 12 guys on that team, on that defense, were all-stars at some point.
Yeah.
We had a lot of talent for sure, and that was kind of the first wave of bringing it all together. And we were trying to find ourselves offensively, and that year, with Damon and Michael Bishop going back and forth at quarterback, and Damon got hot. Damon Allen got hot. He went on a crazy streak. Playing really proficient football, and then Arlen Blue started playing, and Robert Baker, Tony, so we had a lot of, but we had talent. It was just we were just missing something, and pinball kind of bridged it all together,
Yeah.
You got to give Penn a ton of credit, because the ton of different personalities that you wouldn't think would mesh. We found a way to mesh at the right time, and that's what it is. And in CFL, you can go 17-1 and 18, whatever, 16-2. But it's an 8-10 team that, just get hot at the right moment, and that's what it takes. So getting hot in October, rolling into November, and that's really what we did. And survived that way. So we had to go conquer Montreal up there. They were, AC, and those guys were the darlings of the league, so for years, and deservedly so. I think they were 15-3, and we finally beat them, we got close so many years, knocking at the door, and we finally got over that hump.
I think, I'll always remember that one. I was pretty young, but I remember watching that one, especially that Argos team. There were so many stars on that team. Fast forward now to now, how much have defenses evolved in the CFL? How much has changed since your playing days even to now?
Yeah, so you got to do a lot more disguising nowadays. The problem, most of the the head coaches are OCs are former quarterbacks in this league. So
it's true.
So you have to your pre-snap adjustments and post-snap movements. You got to do things to throw those guys off. You know what I mean? So you want to hold things as long as possible. To try to throw those guys off. And they're getting coached by guys who've been through this scenario, those quarterbacks. So, and you want to make those guys hold the ball as long as possible. But I see a lot more, like you said, combination coverages now than it was kind of straightforward man zone back in the day. But a lot of guys I watched now are running a ton of combination coverages to kind of confuse the quarterbacks and get man reads here, zone reads here. And, and then versatility, again, of the linebacker position where some guys are shooting, to the free safety or playing a half safety.
It's crazy,
Like that. So, and that's fun. I wish we did more things like that when I played, because I excelled a little bit more. So that brings a smile to my face to see that. And that's not only us, that's around the league guys are doing that. So, but yeah, it's, it's really just more movement on the defensive side of the ball. More exotic looks in the secondary.
Well, I think you did pretty good with your career. Two-time Grey Cup champion, CFL All-Star. I don't think you could do too much better than that, but if you could have, that would have been a scary sight. Coach, where are you spending the off-season right now? Where's home for you?
So I'm currently in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So that's home base. So I'm currently in Los Angeles. But I'll be heading up in a week from the day. I should be crossing the border. So
right on. Right on.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were in Hamilton?
It was the 2019 season.
Okay.
just vacationing up there with the family up. And, I went to the Ticats Winnipeg game, which was crazy. So I want to say toward the middle, July 25th-ish, somewhere around that in 2019. So, and they were the two best teams in the league record-wise. And, it was crazy. I got, Ocean, again, I was on one sideline and Ocean's on the other sideline. So two of the co-captains, the team I played with.
Yeah.
So, and got to see both of those guys in the locker room after the game. And and honestly, going to see it, and that was my first time really experiencing it as a fan, get to see in the crowd and have a beer and just watch some football. Everything, I was always playing or, or involved in coaching, in that aspect. So to enjoy it. And that was my first time in the new Tim Hortons field, since they redid it and all that stuff. So it was, so it was 5 years ago, and to be able to be around those guys again and so last year I was a guest coach in Winnipeg.
Yep.
So I was a guest coach in Winnipeg with Olsen. I got to see how he operates and things like that, which they do obviously an amazing job. And now coming over here with you know what I mean? So it's obviously you had the friendship part of it, but it's business, and we're we're all competitive people, and and I know he want to bring competitive guys that want to win, and that's what it's about. So.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a full circle moment, but whenever you're in Hamilton, what is it like? What did you find the environment's like here with these crazy Ticats fans?
Obviously, I've always been on the other side, so. But it was always it was respectful. Like it definitely was. Just again, I grew up a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so you know what I mean. So I kind of empathize with the
similar,
with the Ticat fan base. So you know what I mean. Like that's their. It's a steel town, and that's what they care about. You know what I mean? And, I was down the road, obviously, on the other side. But I thought the Ticats always had amazing fans, especially to play. You know what I mean? Because they'll go back and forth with you. And that's the cool thing about the CFL. It remains respectful with them, man. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, hey, you're gonna bump into them at the grocery store, and this and that and that, and we might be renting out a place from somebody there. Like it's a feel that it's kind of the sort of U.S. college feel, but with a professional environment. So I love it.
It's gonna be definitely. I'm excited for the season. We're getting closer and closer here. Before we go, Coach, what does this next month and a half look like for you as we gear up for training camp here?
Yep. Again, we've been meeting Zooming 3 times a week per se. For the coaching staff. But no, to get in office to get a feel for things and really how the day-to-day go. Especially for me, I'm in a totally different time zone than everybody else. So. Just again, we can meet like this, but it's totally different when guys are in a room, So,
for sure.
Again, I got to get used to all the technology part of some things, you know what I mean, that I haven't had my own office in a good while. So, just getting dialed in on that and try to make the operation as smooth as possible once the players get in town, and so we can get rolling. I don't want any hitches, and in the engine, man, before we get going. So, I know it's going to be a process, but I love to learn, be there and learn in person. So that's hands-on is always the best way for me. And so I'm just trying to get used to the day-to-day.
People
say grind. I don't say grind. It's what I want to do. You know what I mean? So, So,
for sure.
And that's pretty much it. Obviously, that'll be it.
Well, I'm excited to see you here, Coach. I'm excited for you to get down in Hamilton and get training camp going here. I know Ticats fans are raring to go to see some football again. So once again, that's the new linebackers coach for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Michael Fletcher. I appreciate you joining me today, man.
Thank you, guys. Go Cats.